was black. That is truth, but it wasn't a bones that was found 100 billion years ago. The black man that bear all civilization, when you look before the flood, is Adam. The black man that bear all of civilization, that would be after the flood, would be our father Noah. See how this works? So now we understand that all ethnicity, no matter what color you are, still come from a chosen seed, which is the bearer or the forebearer, or what you would call the progenitor of all races we see today. There is no new races. Right? Now, out of Noah's sons, the Most High chose Shem. Out of Shem, he chose Abraham. Out of Abraham, he chose Jacob. Out of Jacob, he chose, out of Abraham, he chose, Isaac. And out of Isaac, he chose Jacob, which bear the 12 tribes of Israel. Right? Now, still, these are all people of color. As you know, based on our prior lessons, there was no such thing as what we would call a modern-day European or a modern-day Caucasoid or Caucasian. There was no such people until Rebekah, a black woman, had Jacob and Esau. And that's how the Bible breaks down families. Now, if you begin to try to go into science to break down ethnicities, you'll begin to falter. That's where you will falter. All ethnicities and bloodlines and genealogies is in the Bible. Now, of course, the scientists, those that are looking to lie and take your identity, have put out false information that would direct you into believing the true children of Israel are not the true children of Israel. And in place, by default, since everyone is arguing who the 12 tribes are, they have now taken a position that belongs to us. And see, it's the old bait and switch. It's the old misdirection. They'll misdirect you to argue who the 12 tribes are, why they are assuming the position of all of them. So I thought that we would go into a lesson, the mystery of the Gentiles today. To break down what that mystery really is. To show you, beyond any shadow of a doubt, that the curses and prophecies not only is on us people. We can't deny they're on us. Big time. All right? And to some degree, we're more magnified because it tells you Judah would be at the neck of his enemy. Which means everywhere the enemy is, Judah would be there. So predominantly, prominently, you would see more of what's going on with Judah opposed to the other tribes that are scattered, that are actually suffering more than Judah right now. Mm-hmm. I don't see too many people right now crying for the Filipinos who was hit with those storms, because you don't believe they belong to you. You don't believe they belong to the Most High. You don't believe the destructions in the earth are aimed towards destroying God's people. But when you look at these weather weapons and all these things they're using, all these weapons are used to continue to scatter and to destroy the children of Israel. That's the focal point of prophecy. But let's not get too far there. Let's get strictly into scriptures now. Right? Let's go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. And I'm going here because we're told that only black people that suffered the captivity, the transatlantic slave trade, suffer the curses of Deuteronomy 28. And that cannot be further from the truth. So what we're going to do is we're going to read Deuteronomy 28. Now, we know that according to 2 Ezra 13 and 39, that the lost tribes went over into, you got it, the new world, a land where never mankind dwelt. Let's get that real quick, and then we read in Deuteronomy 28. We're going to break this down nice and slow for you.
2 Ezra chapter 13, verse 39.
Go ahead.
And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him,
Go ahead.
those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land, in the time of Hosea, whom Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters.
Now what happens? In 721 BC, the northern kingdom was taken out of the land. You can read this in 2 Kings 17, and was replaced by Gentiles. These were the dispersed of the northern kingdom who fell through the sins of Solomon. Now, their captivity and destruction actually happened years before ours. They have suffered many atrocities. That's not documented because we only focus on the prophecies that are concerning us. That's that divide and conquer. Don't forget, Christ told us, and he made it clear, a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. A kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. Right? Read.
And he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land.
Go ahead.
But they took this counsel among themselves.
That
they would leave the multitude of the heathen. And go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
And go to another country where never mankind dwelt. Now we know this must be the new world, because at this time of prophecy, 2nd Ezra, we all knew of the lands that was given to Ham, Shem, and Japheth. See that? That's Africa, that's the Middle East, and that's Europe and Asia. So the only lands which no mankind knew at this time were the Americas. And there's documented proof in Lost Tribes of the Promised Land with the DILEs, the actual memoirs of Christopher Columbus, using the Apocrypha as an instruction map. A geographical map to not find some land, but to actually find the lost sheep, who would actually be people used to build their new world. What better people to find to build their empire than the people who built Egypt? All right. So when they came, when the conquistadors and Christopher Columbus started traveling, their whole mindset was to find the lost sheep that left in second. And now we were still in Judea at this time. I mean, earlier we were in Judea when the northern kingdom was taken out. So by the time they began to go search, we were still somewhat intact. Especially in Africa, we were still together, but not the 10 tribes. The 10 tribes were scattered almost 800 years before Christ. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Deuteronomy 28 real quick and show you some of the prophecies. And you tell me, does that only link to black people? Now, not to say it don't, because a lot of prophecies do link to us. Not to say they're just the 10 tribes. But you're going to find that these prophecies that are on us are also on the other tribes. Someone made a statement. I think some brother left a statement on our site that said that North American Indians got casinos. So they can't be the 12 tribes. They can't be the lost sheep. I'm like, what? I'm like, so that's how you measure who an Israelite is? Based on whether or not you have some type of entrepreneurship? Are you kidding me? Well, Oprah Winfrey, she can't be Israel now. She owned a serious communication conglomerate. And what she make a year is more than what one of these guys can make with one of these casinos. Okay. She make what? How many billions of years she makes? That means she's not an Israelite? So they're measuring things ignorantly instead of through prophecy. How much do Michael Jordan make a year? Does that mean he's not an Israelite? How much do Jay-Z make a year? Does that mean he's not an Israelite? So people are measuring things ignorantly, claiming that none of these tribes have suffered what we've suffered. Total ignorance. Total ignorance. So let's go through some of the prophecies and some secular history to prove to you that the other tribes that suffered in North, Central, and South America have suffered the same atrocities as us. Now, some people may say, well, what's going on with them now? It seems like they are more to do and more together than black people. Well, that's true. Why? Because they were already conquered by the time we got to the Americas. They were infiltrated and conquered and destroyed. And we look so much into our Holocaust that we ignore theirs. We ignore their Holocaust. There was an American Holocaust before black people came to the shores of America in the belly of ships. Right? Let's read it.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1.
Matter of fact, let's go straight to the curses. Start 15.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power.
Now at this time all Israel was together.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all the curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
All these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Let's go through some of the curses.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
You shall be in the city and in the field. Go ahead.
Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
Thy basket and thy store, which means you will not run anything financially.
Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land.
The fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land. That means your children will be cursed coming in the earth. Read.
The increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest out, when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
You'll be cursed when you're born, all the way to death. Read.
The Lord shall send upon thee curses, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed.
Until thou be destroyed. Well, guess what? We're in November, right? What day is coming up? So-called Thanksgiving in America? I guess Thanksgiving, the celebration of the North American Indians being slaughtered, is not a prophecy concerning, according to the Bible, right? Matter of fact, let's get some prophecies on Gad real quick, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let's get the one in Psalms. And let's also get the one where it shows you in Deuteronomy 33, where they cut their hand for a peace pact. Let's get that too. Someone tell me if this is not the North American Indians here. Genesis the 49th chapter tells us that a troop shall overtake Gad, but he shall overcome in the end. What troop overtook Gad? The North American cavalry. It took them a long time to take down Gad, the Masons. But they had to first lie on the Gadites and make everyone believe they were savages, when there was information getting back to Europe that these were in fact parts of the 10 tribes of Israel. Right? Let's get some prophecies. Deuteronomy 33. Let's read it.
Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 20.
Go ahead.
And of Gad he said.
And of Gad he said.
Blessed be he that enlargeth Gad.
Go ahead.
He dwelleth as a lion.
He dwelleth as a lion.